I can't believe no one agrees with me. This is the superhero movie that we wanted and we didn't know it yet. The first Amazing Spider-Man gave me the feeling that this franchise could be better than the Sam Raimi movies, which were pretty entertaining in their own right. And the sequel proved it. It went all out, providing not only an awesome Spidey superhero action experience, but a nostalgic experience. This is the first Spider-Man movie that made me nostalgic. None of the previous ones did that, and this one did. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero, and it took me years to determine who my favorite superhero is. This movie brought me back to my days as a kid, reading the comics, watching the 90s TV show on Saturday morning, dressing up as Spider-Man for Halloween in the first grade, playing the video games, playing with the toys, and reading Spider-Man memorabilia. So, how does a movie like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 come up this great? Well, we're talking Andrew Garfield here, man. This is A-list actor Andrew Garfield. I first noticed him in The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which is an amazing fantasy picture from Gilliam and Heath Ledger's final acting role. So now, looking back, it's mind-blowing to see Spider-Man and the Joker working together in this movie. The next year, Andrew Garfield made two other great movies, The Social Network, which everybody knows, and the lesser-known picture Never Let Me Go, alongside Keira Knightley and Carey Mulligan. This is a wonderful sci-fi movie. You've got to see it. The following summer, I got to meet Andrew Garfield when he, Emma Stone, Mark Webb, and a few others were promoting the first Amazing Spider-Man. Meeting him then gave me a sense of what was yet to come, and the sequel brings it full circle. The music was great. Jamie Foxx was great as the bumbling scientist who transitions into the intimidating villain Electro. Dane DeHaan was great as Harry Osborn. He gives us the right amount of screen time to show us that Peter and Harry had a friendship growing up. And when things go wrong, all the conflict that erupts that ends up turning Harry into the villain, the supporting villain, Goblin, he's great in that too. And even though the Goblin has a limited amount of time on screen, he makes a huge impact on the story and conflict. Let's not forget the romance between Peter and Gwen. What Mark Webb struggled with in 500 Days of Summer, he mastered in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I loved that. Everyone else saw the ending as a dumb setup for the next movie. You know what I saw? I saw Spider-Man overcoming his heartbreak, overcoming his losses, learning to keep himself going, learning to continue as the hero he needs to be and that the city needs him to be. That is the great responsibility that comes with great power, and that is the inspiration that superheroes should have. For all those reasons, this was an action experience that was not only the Spider-Man I dreamed of seeing, but had every right to be called amazing. Unfortunately, no one agreed with me. Instead, people complained there was not enough Goblin. Story was rushed. Rhino was only at the end. Too many villains means the story is too complicated to concentrate on. Too much CG. Of all the movies that have too much CG, this one gets blamed. And the most ridiculous complaint of them all, that Andrew Garfield is too cool and too good looking to play Peter Parker's Spider-Man. So would you prefer someone not quite as good looking to play Peter Parker's Spider-Man? I think I know why people didn't like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because it wasn't made by Marvel Studios. It's kind of like the X-Men movie argument. Everybody hates X-Men The Last Stand because it wasn't made by Bryan Singer. But if X-Men The Last Stand were the exact same movie with Bryan Singer's name on it, I'm willing to bet everyone would love it. Everyone except me, because I didn't like the X-Men movies either way. If The Amazing Spider-Man 2 were the exact same movie with the Marvel Studios logo on it and a tiny little reference to the Avengers, I'm sure everyone would love that too. You've got your wish. Sony made a deal with Marvel Studios. They're going to take the Spider-Man story. They're not going to continue where Amazing Spider-Man 2 left off. They're going to start a whole new Spider-Man, a whole new background, a whole new character to fit into the Marvel stories. The Marvel Studios stories, that is. Do I want to see Spider-Man join the Avengers in a future movie? Yeah, I'd like to see that. But, the problem I have with Marvel Studios is that they keep settling for summer blockbuster money. They won't continue, and take the chance to go for that grand picture that they could go for with the story material that was prepared for them. And they're not doing that with the Spider-Man stories either. They keep going for mass appeal without going deep into the characterization and interesting drama. It's better than what Fox is doing, with their X-Men movies. The X-Men movies don't really feel like X-Men, and they're not really that intriguing. Marvel Studios, they make fun movies. They're all enjoyable. I'm not going to remember them in 10 years from now. I'm going to remember The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 10 years from now. We saw Sony take a lot of risk with this latest Spider-Man movie, and they made a great superhero picture that made less money at the box office. So now they've given it to Marvel Studios, and now Marvel Studios will keep Spider-Man going from there, in their way. My excitement for superhero movies isn't the same as it used to be. I can't really say I'm excited anymore for superhero movies, not after reading all this latest news, both from Marvel and from DC. I'm sure I'll see them, but I won't be excited for them. I'll see them, I'll be good. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, maybe they won't. Whoever plays Spider-Man next, whatever the next movie will be like, whatever Spidey will look like in Avengers 3, wait and see. I'll always have this.